I grew up poor on the Gulf, so we lived through a lot of the hurricanes. Our worst were Katrina, Rita, and Ike. The scariest part about them is how quickly they build up. You have 3 to 4 days of worrying, and then suddenly at 3 a.m., your parents pull you out of bed and order you to pack because of the mandatory evacuation. So that was always the first, oh shit. Scrambling into a cramped car in the dead of night, with just your vital documents and as much food and emergency supplies as you can fit, not knowing what will happen. Second, oh shit, evacuating. Even at 3 a.m., millions of people are evacuating, and that's millions of cars backed up on every single road. You can't waste gas on air conditioning, so it's boiling hot and cramped in the dead of a Texas summer. You'd move maybe 10 feet in an hour. The roads were so clogged that I remember people getting out of their cars and playing frisbee on the interstate. If you're close to the hurricane, it's even more terrifying. It sounds like the sky is getting ripped open. We were lucky to have family to stay with, but that doesn't stop the destruction. I remember watching CNN when Ike made landfall, realizing the flooded area and collapsed buildings looked familiar, and asking my mom, "Wait, isn't that our neighborhood?" You never want to see your house on CNN. Third, oh shit, coming back. It always looks like those post-apocalyptic movies. Houses ripped apart, streets flooded, trees torn out of the ground or splitting open buildings. Most of the dead are in their houses, but sometimes the bodies were washed into the rivers and streets. BTW. Graves float upwards in floods. The cemeteries were always torn apart, with caskets and corpses thrown everywhere and rotting in the wet sun. After Rita, because we were too poor to evacuate, we lived at home for a short while. No electricity besides the generator, no running water, no emergency services, living off MREs and boiled street water. Wild hogs and alligators prowled everywhere, chased out of their usual homes by the storm, and I remember playing in the huge felled trees in the streets. Lots of people kept watch with guns to chase off looters. It felt like living in a zombie movie. Eventually FEMA would show up, and you'd wait in line forever for your ration of bottled water and MREs while they tried to reconstruct everything. So that was the third oh shit. Trying to figure out how you move on from there after your area has been torn to shreds. It was odd growing up and realizing not all kids understood the FEMA markings for how many bodies were found in a house. I know that should have been obvious, but FEMA was such a normal part of my childhood that it never occurred to me.
I live in the Gatlinburg, TN area. We recently had some devastating wildfires. The whole day, I kept telling myself everything was going to be fine. There's no way the fire can get from the chimney tops, local mountain peak and popular hiking trail, to downtown. I was underestimating the wind and how dry it was. It got real very, very fast. I started hearing about fire that had spread to Twin Creeks and Cherokee Orchard. These areas are directly next to the city proper, but I'm a town over, so I should be safe. Then I heard fire trucks approaching my house, and we were told by the fire department that we had to leave. Oh shit, this real. Videos started coming in of the mountains surrounding Gatlinburg. Everything was on fire. The city center was fine, but everything else was burning. It looked like magma flows on the mountains. Oh shit, this is real. And then the news started talking about people trapped in a hotel by fire. My dad was in that hotel. Everyone made it out of the hotel, but it didn't look good for a while. It felt even more real the next day when I heard that they had found 3 bodies, then 5, then 10. They're still finding remains. I think last official count was 14. It will be higher. When I saw National Guard helicopters and trucks, it felt a little more real. Now that I think about it, I still don't think it feels entirely real. Nothing like this has ever happened here.
My family lost everything in the little-known flood of Baton Rouge, Louisiana last year that the Red Cross called the worst U.S. disaster since Hurricane Sandy. In mid-August, it began raining. Then it rained some more, got more powerful, and didn't stop for days. There was talk that the local rivers were going to crest and cause some pretty serious flooding. We lived somewhat close to the Amite River, but our neighbors said our neighborhood hadn't flooded in over 100 years. Local news said that the nearby high school may get a little bit of water inside from the rising river. We thought we had a couple of days to plan on how we were going to shelter in place because of the weather forecast. On the 13th of August, I woke up, walked outside, and started walking toward the direction of the river. Some of the lower areas were collecting water, but there was no standing water anywhere near my house or even my neighborhood. I went back home and told my wife we should probably get some supplies in case this got serious. Maybe we should even pack a car in case we need to leave, but I'm sure there will be nothing to worry about. About 30 minutes into slowly packing, there is a loud banging on my front door. It's my wife's cousin. I open the door and she says, "What are you doing? Get out of the house." I look behind her and my entire yard is underwater, and the water line is only about a half-inch front, going over my doorstep and into my house. I was floored. The river wasn't supposed to crest until the next day. I thought we had more time. I yelled at my wife, "We have to get out of the house, now." We packed up both our cars in about 10 minutes, with only our most precious memories. Everything else we had built in a 10-year marriage was left behind. We evacuated about 5 miles east away from the river to my wife's grandmother's. After being there for about an hour, someone comes to the front door and says, "You guys need to get out. The river is coming." Sure enough, her yard was flooding. We evacuated a second time in as many hours to her cousin's house even further east. After only an hour, we were told again that the river was on the way and we had to leave. We evacuated 3 times that day. I drove back through the flooded waters at some point because we left our cat. When I got back to our house, I sloshed through knee-deep water filled with trash and our water-logged belongings. Got the cat safely, though. When it was all over, it was a surreal feeling. We were homeless and lost everything that didn't fit in one car. The other car got left behind during one of the evacuations and flooded. Oh, and I haven't even gotten to the "this is real" moment. That moment didn't come until about a week after the flood while we were living in a tiny room at my sister-in-law's house. My wife, me, 3-year-old daughter, dog, cat, and fish. After about a week, the shell shock wore off, and I thought, this is our new life now. This is real. I'm so glad we have each other, and no one was hurt. We're still homeless, living at the moment at my mother-in-law's house, but we hope to buy a new home soon.